everybody, and welcome back to Tenfold Homestead. It's Bianca. I wanted to tell you guys today, having a homestead is absolutely a dream come true for me and Sylvester. And I'll be honest, we were not raised out in the country. We did not grow up farming or gardening or anything like this, but it's really, really fun to be doing. We're both city kids. I grew up in the suburbs. Sylvester grew up in the city. And so this is really still new to us. The idea that we have a garden this big with raised beds and fruit trees and a bunch of kids running around, it's still kind of crazy, but it's amazing. And even though we didn't grow up doing this, I feel like we're not exactly starting from scratch either. In a way, we really do feel like we're standing on the shoulders of giants. There are so many helpful gardening and homestead videos and YouTube channels out there that Sylvester and I have watched. We've watched with our kids. They're really encouraging and helpful. They give this great information. They inspire us. There's great ideas. We really enjoy MIgardener. We love More Than Farmers. We love Anne of All Trades. These people are gardening and doing animals and some of the things that we're doing now and a lot of the things that we hope to do someday. So in this video, my big 5 girls are going to give you a tour of their special areas of the garden. They either got seeds from Menards or from a family friend. Some of them are started from seed and made these little starter plants, and we transplanted them. Some people just put seeds in the ground in our raised beds or outside in the ground. But my big 5 girls, my oldest is 13 right now, and the youngest of the big 5 is 7, and they just took ownership of their areas of the garden. They learned from Google and ChatGPT and the gardening books that we have, and learned all about their particular seeds and how to take care of them. It was obviously a big homeschool lesson and project for them, but they were able to learn information and then share all of that information with the rest of the family. And we asked them questions, and so they just really informed themselves about it. So I'm going to let them take over this part of the video, and they're going to tell you about what they grew.
Okay, so in these 4 square feet, I planted kaleidoscope blend carrots, and they will get about 5 inches long, and they will be all different colors: red, orange, yellow, purple, and white. And I will harvest them in late June. And also, next to them, there's some Kyoja beets and early wonder tall tab next to that. And those, I'm excited because those seedlings sprouted. And that's it. Right here, I planted Nantes half-long carrots, 8 square feet of them. And Nantes half-long carrots will reach up to about 6 to 7 inches long, and they're going to be just orange. And I'm going to harvest them when the foliage is about 12 inches a foot long, or high rather, and you can see the shoulders of the carrot. Also, just when the seed packet says to, I'm going to harvest them in late August. Then, right here is Napoli carrots. Then, on this side, there are 4 square feet of Kyoja beets and 4 square feet of early wonder tall top beets. And I'm pretty excited because my carrots that I planted and the beets are going to germinate pretty soon. But they haven't yet. This spring, I started Roma and Brandywine tomatoes indoors, and I planted them on March 25th, so they will be ready mid to late June. And I transplanted them on Memorial Day. The Brandywines here are going up a cattle panel. They are large lobed, 1 to 2 pounds, and they are indeterminate, so they will start producing in June and keep producing until the first frost. The Romas here we have in cages. They are determinate, so they will produce from June. They do like a big harvest in June, and then they stop there. And then the extra I planted, because I did 15 of each variety, have to go in a tomato patch. So I did 3 rows of 10-foot cattle panel, and these 2 rows are all brandywines. This one is all Romas except for this corner one. So these brandywine tomatoes need 4 square feet to grow, and we are using cattle panels instead of a cage because we would need a lot of tomato cages. So then I have the Romas here on this front side, and you're supposed to water them every 2 to 3 days, and the soil should feel like cake, like a damp sponge, not soaking but not dry. So right now they're getting big. They're not quite connected to the cattle panel yet. They're not quite big enough, but when they do, we will make sure that they're growing up. And so yeah, and then that's it. So this too I planted on March 25th. This is curly parsley. It's planted the same day as the tomatoes, so it will be ready around the same time. It will be ready mid to late June, and you water it about 3 times a week. And then, like the tomatoes, they're pretty alike. Like the tomatoes, they need like a cake textured soil, not too dry, not too wet, like a damp sponge. So these, you harvest them the outside so that the middle can grow, and then that way you get parsley from mid to late June all the way until the first like hard frost that they can't stand the cold. But it makes them sweeter, like carrots and beets. They don't mind a little bit of cold, but you can't give them too much, they would die. So that's it. I also planted Halesbash Jumbo cantaloupe seeds around Memorial Day weekend with the other stuff we planted after the frost, so that around May 15th. So here you can see we put weed barrier down and we're putting mulch. So these will germinate soon, but they're a little bit slow to germinate. And they will give, I think, around like 5 cantaloupes per plant. But I don't know that much about these because I didn't research too much. I was researching a lot about tomatoes and parsley, so that's it. Hi guys, I'm Justina, and I'm going to tell you about the seeds I planted in our garden this year. First, there's this corn patch. I looked in here this morning, I can't see anything that popped up yet. Anyway, I planted Bilicious hybrid sweet corn. It's known for being, it's a hybrid, so I can't use the kernels and plant them again, I think, but it's known for being like nice and sweet, I think easy to grow. I dropped a couple seeds in each hole, so if some don't germinate, I can thin the ones that germinated several, leave the ones that only grew 1. So that way I'll have like 108 plants after I thin them and stuff, if they all grow. I planted them last week on Thursday the 21st. They take 7 to 14 days to emerge, and then I am hoping to harvest around August 11th, I think. The plants get 6 to 7 feet tall. I'm so excited, like I can picture like all of it like grown instead of just dirt. I learned a lot about corn. Corn like doesn't need bees to pollinate it, or like pollinators. It's wind pollinated, so the tassels, which are stringy stuff on the top of the plant, I think produce pollen, and then the wind blows through and shakes, like blows the pollen that the tassels made onto the silks, which there's 1 silk connected to each kernel on the cob. So if it's not windy, you might have to like shake in the morning. So the next thing I planted is cucumbers. I planted Boopless Beauty cucumbers. I think they take 7 to 14 days too, I feel like, but they sprouted. Look at that. I'm so excited. Like, I planted another kind called National Pickling, like a pickling cucumber. So I planted like 4 places and like several seeds again in case they don't all germinate. Which this one I planted like 3 or something, all of them germinated. That's pretty good though, like that's a high germination rate. And then here is the National Pickling ones. This one, let me go this way so you can see better. This one, I see 5 plants. That's amazing. And then there's 1 here. And then on this side, there's 2 and 2 here. So I'm super excited about those. Oh, and if you have any tips about how to grow corn or something else, please let us know in the comments. That's it. Alright guys, hi, I'm Elisa and I planted jack-little pumpkins. They're little pumpkins and after you plant them, they take about 95 days to harvest. So this hole I planted jack-little pumpkins. And I think I put 1 seed. They need full sun, and I was so excited to plant them because that's actually really interesting that you can plant different kinds of pumpkins. We had like jack-o'-lantern, jack-be-little, and like maybe 2 jack-be-little, two jack-be-littles, 1 jack-o'-lantern, and I don't know what the other kind was, but just whatever. We planted all those 4 kinds, 2 jack-be-littles, 1 jack-o'-lantern, and then maybe 2 more kinds, 1 or 2 more kinds. And then, so I planted those. Bye, thank you guys for watching.
So this is what the garden looks like. You walk in the gate and to your left, we have the children's flower garden, then blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Then we have our mini orchard of 9 fruit trees, apples, pears, peaches, and cherries. We have the corn patch in the ground. Way in the back, we have tomatoes in the ground, and then we have cantaloupe, zucchini, watermelons, pumpkins, and potatoes, and then our 6 raised beds. For those of you that are interested, the varieties of blueberries that we planted were Elliott, Duke, Patriot, and Blue Crop. And we have Heritage, Latham, and Caroline raspberries. And way in the back against the fence, kind of in the corner, are our blackberries. We did Triple Crown and Prime Arc Freedom. Those are all really well suited to where we live in Michigan. We're hoping to get no thorns on the raspberries and blackberries, lots of berries because we've got lots of hungry little mouths. Then in our mini orchard, we have these 3 apple trees. We have Enterprise, Gold Rush, and Liberty. And then we have 2 pear trees, both a Bosque and a Bartlett. And way back there against the fence, we have a Lappin's sweet cherry and a Montmorency tart cherry. And then these 2 are peach trees, Reliance and Contender. Heading over now to the raised beds. This is our first one. Arabella told you these are her Brandywine and Roma tomatoes. They're doing absolutely great. We have this cattle panel hoping that the Brandywines will grow kind of up and leaning against. In this bed here, we have slicing cucumbers going up one way into the tomatoes and pickling cucumbers going up the other way into the green beans. And we have some bell peppers in the back there. They think they're mostly red. There might be a couple orange because my kids love peppers. In this bed here, we have pole beans going up the cattle panel, and there's a bunch of bush beans planted where Noah is digging in the dirt. And then there's a bunch of hot peppers back there. We have mostly jalapenos with a serrano. This bed here is 24 all-star strawberry plants. And then this next bed, the girls talked about, half of it is carrots and half of it is beets. And this bed here, half of it is with romaine and half of it is with spinach. And then I have basil and parsley and a couple chives. Then in this bed here, we have about 2 dozen potatoes. I'm pretty sure that they're Yukon Golds. And then in the next bed, we have 3 different kinds of pumpkins. And in the next bed here, we have some watermelon, 2 different kinds. And in the long bed here, we have zucchini. And in the one way in the corner, we're doing cantaloupe. Back here, Arabella told you she's got 3 cattle panels and 15 tomato plants. And next to her tomato patch, we have Justina's corn patch, where she has, I think, 100 corn kernels in the ground. Last thing, guys, we're posting this video in late July, but the garden has grown so much since this video was actually taken. I'm excited to share with you what it looks like right now and to tell you all about what we've grown, what we've harvested so far. We will be sharing that soon. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't done it already, please like and comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.